They've been missing for 2 years, and now the families of 3 Toronto teenagers are pleading for the public's help to find their children.
Whatever what happened, our whole families, we miss you and we love you. We hope you come back soon. Whatever what happened, we still support you. And then please give me some or send me some message. We just want to know you're safe and hope you come home soon.
August 14th marked the 2-year anniversary of the disappearance of Eva Ho, Jackie Lai, and Kevin Lim. All 3 went missing on the same day. They have not been seen or heard from since. What is even stranger about this case is the connection between the disappearance of these 3 teens and the disappearance of another Toronto teen. Philip Sitt's mother reported him missing on September 25, 2005. His remains were found 10 months later in King Township on August 9, 2006. 5 days later, Eva Ho, Jackie Lai, and Kevin Lim disappeared. All 3 were connected to Philip Sitt.
Eva Ho was a schoolmate of Philip Sitt. They both had attended Harbour Collegiate in the city of Toronto. Eva Ho had a boyfriend named Jackie Lai, and Jackie Lai was from the Scarborough area, and he was 17 years of age. Kevin Lim was also 17 years of age, and he was also from the Scarborough area. Eva Ho and Jackie Lai were boyfriend and girlfriend. And during the summer and the month of September 2005, Eva Ho, Jackie Lai, and Philip Sitt had formed a very close relationship and had spent quite a lot of time together. The circumstances surrounding Eva Ho's disappearance are very peculiar. She was a 16-year-old girl that used her cellular telephone on a regular basis, was in constant contact with her best friend and with her mother on various occasions throughout any normal day. Since her disappearance on the 14th of August 2006, there was no reported cell phone activity, and her family and her mother have not heard from her since, neither has her best friend. Jackie Lai had also left his residence with some money and his cell phone, and there has been no cellular activity or no contact with his family since his disappearance. Kevin Lim, his circumstances were somewhat different. He was at home and did not leave the house with his cell phone or his wallet, and for Kevin to be away from his cell phone was extremely unusual. He had borrowed some money from his grandmother on that day and stated not to lock the door, he would be right back, and went down to the corner store to grab a drink. He was dressed in apparel that he wouldn't normally leave the house in, and he was never heard or seen from since either. I believe that these 3 youths have important information that will forward the investigation of Philip Sitt, and I know that Philip Sitt's family are looking for some closure in this matter, so I'm appealing to these 3 missing kids to come forward and fill in the missing pieces of the puzzle.
Coming up.
None of them were employed. None of them drove. They didn't have access to any vehicles. So for them just to disappear and literally drop off the face of the earth, I find that very unusual.
Before the break, we heard about 3 Toronto teens who have seemingly vanished off the face of the planet. Even more peculiar is that Eva Ho, Jackie Lai, and Kevin Lim disappeared 5 days after the remains of another Toronto teen were found. Their friend, Philip Sitt. Where could they have been these past 2 years? One theory is that the teens have left the country and are living overseas in Hong Kong.
There's always that possibility. However, one of these youths did not have a passport, and the 2 other passports were not in their possession at the time they went missing. So that would pose some challenges for them to get overseas, especially with no means of income. and no passports.
There has been no cell phone, credit card, or debit card activity in any of the accounts of the three teens. Not one of them has contacted their families once in the past 2 years.
On behalf of all three teenagers' families, we don't know what happened to them. We'd like to have any information regarding these three teenagers, because it's been 2 years since they are missing.
I don't know exactly what has happened to the three teens, but I do find it unbelievable that a 16-year-old girl has left home, even if she did leave home for some reason, has left without ever contacting her best friend ever again. These three kids, none of them were employed, none of them drove, they didn't have access to any vehicles, and to date there is no reason why they would have run from home or fled their home. So for them just to disappear and literally drop off the face of the earth, I find that very unusual.
Also unusual is that Philip Sitt's body was found in the country 30 kilometers from where he disappeared in downtown Toronto.
The only correlation the investigation has uncovered as to the location of Philip Sitt's remains are that if you travel north on the Highway 400 out of the city, King Road is the first rural exit outside of the city of Toronto.
The murder of Philip Sitt and the disappearance of Eva Ho, Jackie Lai, and Kevin Lim are like pieces of a puzzle, and the police have been trying to figure out how they fit together. But the tips have stopped coming in. The police are appealing to friends of the four teens.
We are appealing to anybody with any information to come forward and help us link the missing pieces together so that we have a full picture of what has occurred to Philip Sitt. If anybody out there was a friend of Philip Sitt or is a friend of Jackie Lai, Eva Ho, or Kevin Lim, it's imperative that you call in and provide the information to the investigators, as no information is too little. Some information that you feel may not be important may be important to the investigators and may fill in that one piece of the missing puzzle.
Their families are extremely concerned about them. If Eva and Jackie and Kevin are out there, please call your families. If something terrible has happened to them and people have information, please call the police. Young people, if you're out there, please remember this. Text tip 312 and your message to crimes. So, for example, if you knew where Eva Ho was, if you knew where Kevin Lim was, or you knew where Jackie Lai was, or you know what has happened to them, any bit of information is not too small. Pick up your phone, text tip 312. Tip 312 is the Toronto agency code for the Anonymous Crime Stoppers program for text messaging. You have to type in tip 312. Then you would type your message to us. Something as simple as, we saw the kids, they are in Toronto at a certain address, or something like that would be very, very helpful to us. Anything, we just need the information. And you send that off to crimes, CRIMES. So tip 312 in your message to crimes. Please do it for Jackie, please do it for Kevin, and please do it for their families. Their mothers are crying.
If you don't feel that making an anonymous call for Philip Sitt, Jackie Lai, Eva Ho, or Kevin Lim, please call for the sake of their families. Provide them with some closure, some answers, and let them lay many of their questions to rest.
If you have any information about this case, call Crime Stoppers toll-free at 1-800-222-TIPS.